Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Avs lose to the Anaheim Ducks, what ends up being 5-3 when you include the empty netter in a game that they blow. Another 2-goal lead. It's actually been a little while since they've blown one of those, but during the bad stretch before this winning streak, they were doing it with a little bit too much regularity. So understandable that it would trigger some bad thoughts. No doubt about that. A 60-second rundown that I'm not sure anyone wants to do, so I will take it, and we'll be sad for a little bit. First 35 minutes of this game, the Avs really played very, very well. They probably deserved more than the one goal they got in the first period, but they did manage to get at least the one there. So very nice work by Nieto to clean up a rebound. Unfortunately, they give that goal back pretty quickly off of a juicy rebound from Francouz that ends up getting cashed by Frank Vatrano. The second period, again, other than the last couple minutes of that period, I thought the Avs played great. They were dominating the Ducks for the majority of this hockey game. They get rewarded with 2 goals, one of which that comes on the power play. Up 3-1 in a hockey game, it's a game they should win from there. And then they just fall apart to 2 things. One, Pavel Francouz doesn't play well enough. After a bad shift from the Avs defensive depth, he lets in a goal on the post that he really should have sealed to make it 3-2. And then in the third period, the Avs kind of get swamped a little bit. Again, their defense struggles to clear the zone. It ultimately leads to 2 goals against Francouz, which we will get into more specifically here. Let's go back. Let's enjoy the good parts of this game first a little bit. I loved the Avs forwards for the majority of this hockey game. The Avs forwards played super duper well.
Yeah.
Don't love Nathan McKinnon.
Okay. Fair enough.
He makes a great play on the Sam Girard goal.
Yeah.
Very much
A
so.
great, he creates the goal. Like whoever is on that backside gets a freebie because of him, right?
Yeah.
That's all McKinnon, but that's it. That's the end of his night.
Sure.
He rang one off the post too later in the night.
Oh, good for him.
He's getting chances.
I'm very happy for him. That's, no doubt he will feel great about that going home tonight.
And
Probably.
you certainly got what you needed out of Mikko Rantanen tonight, obviously,
Right.
with 2 goals.
Oh.
Sorry.
And really, I think you had fairly solid games. Obviously, you would love an actual goal at the end of this game, but you can't fault the Avs for not generating opportunities to score tonight. They certainly generated the opportunities extremely well. A little bit unlucky, a little bit of John Gibson being a great goalie at the end of the game, a little bit lack of finish. You can throw all of those things in there, I think, and fair enough. But the issues with this game are not going to be coming from the forward core, I don't think. This is not a situation where you feel like the Avs need to be scoring more. Obviously, down 1, you would like another goal, but
Well, the way that you start though, right? You're
Yeah.
up 3-1.
Yeah.
You have a 30-10 shot advantage, and you have
Yeah.
a 3-1 lead in the hockey game.
with
To lose from that
Yeah.
position is unacceptable.
with 3 minutes to go in the second period,
Yeah,
you have that stat line.
It's unacceptable.
Yep.
It's unacceptable from the skaters who, they took their foot off the gas. They stopped playing hockey. The defense was bad. They just let it happen. But then you look at who's making your mistakes. Where are your breakdowns coming from? They get hemmed in the zone. And it's Eric Johnson literally passing the puck to Frank Vatrano.
Yep.
Behind his own net after 90 seconds in his own zone. It's Curtis McDermott just
Outright
fumbling
not
about.
defending a guy. Yeah.
like doing nothing on multiple goals against. How are you going to be out on the ice for 9 minutes and be on the ice for multiple goals?
It's tough.
What are you doing? What in the world are you doing? Because this is they've gotten, like, the Avalanche have gotten by
They've got
with Andreas
I would say
Englund and
they've
Curtis McDermott and
gotten away with it for a while.
yeah, like this is tonight it all breaks because you have breakdowns from guys that shouldn't be on the ice, and then you have a goaltender who has a bad night.
Yep.
And there's no dancing around this. Pavel Francouz has a bad night.
Yep.
You can't in any way honestly look at that hockey game and look at the goals that are scored against and everything that happens and be fine with Pavel Francouz's performance.
You were early on.
It was fine when they had one goal on 10
Yeah.
shots.
But-
Even that one goal, you're looking at Frankie and going,
that wasn't great.
that is
yeah.
a massive rebound
Yeah.
that he gives up that shouldn't be kicked out like that. But the shot that actually beats him is a great shot where you're not hating on it. It's fine.
And Lucky he stopped skating after his guy too. I mean, there's breakdowns everywhere that's going
Yeah,
on.
like there are multiple things that happen, but it
Yeah.
starts with Francouz,
Oh, for
and then
sure.
it gets worse from there.
Yes.
Yep.
The second goal is unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's a bad shift by the team in front of him. He makes a couple of good saves, but what is that?
You can't. You have to steal the post. I mean, you just an NHL goalie just can never get scored on in that way.
Even Pavel Francouz will tell you that's unacceptable to give that goal up.
Yep.
And that you're at 3-1 right at the end of the second period. That opens up that door.
Yep.
Because if you go into the third 3-1, you're feeling pretty
It's a
good.
pretty easy lockdown up by 2.
But you go into the third period at 3-2, and the second period, or the second goal against, you put squarely on your goaltender, and you're like, okay, if that's the only one, I definitely think they should still have this.
For sure.
And then their third period, team wide, Pavel Francouz and every guy in front of him is an unmitigated disaster.
They just get smoked for the first 10 minutes of that period.
It's terrible hockey. They don't come out and play with any intent. They don't play with any purpose. They don't do anything. And then they tie the game where, again, Curtis McDermott is defending nothing.
He floats to the corner where the puck is and just sits on the wall.
Yeah,
while the guy
was
walks
awful.
right by him.
And Adam Henrique with a great finish, but the fourth goal is Pavel Francouz, and Pavel Francouz is alone.
Yep. It's routine. A routine NHL save. A shooter from beyond the circles. It's just a puck that has to be stopped. It's all there really is to it. And it's simply not good enough. The last 35 minutes of this hockey game were 25 even. We're just not good enough.
I really think, it comes down to a lack of focus. You're taking Anaheim for what they are in the standings, and you're kind of thinking ahead when you already go up, right, by 2 goals. Everyone just kind of relaxes, sits back to it. You don't want that to happen. It's just human nature, and it bites them in the ass, though, tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they put the work in to be up 3-1.
Yeah.
With a huge shot advantage. They were dominating the hockey game. They were absolutely dominating it. And they throw it all away. They completely give it up.
Well, on top of it, right, you go down, you're trying to get back in the game, and you take a penalty.
Yeah.
Eats up 2 minutes. You had 7 minutes, now you have 5.
Yep. And
you still should have scored. You should have scored
Well, they
twice.
had chances,
you had
too.
4 or 5
Yeah.
grade A opportunities at the end of the game, and should they have scored? Should they have shot the puck better? Sure, whatever. At the end of the day, you're looking at a game where their goaltender was better than the Avs goaltender.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All the breakdowns in front, all the other issues, you win the special teams battle, you do this, you do that, you do all these things, you do them well, and then you get to the very end. Your goaltender just got outplayed by their goaltender.
Yep.
John Gibson was just better than Pavel Francouz.
No 2 ways around it.
Little puck luck as well, but
Yes, sure, but also the Avs dug their own grave in this hockey game.
These are the weird ones to talk about because they play great hockey for over half the game.
It's almost like talking about 2 different hockey games.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, you add up the segments where they played really well. The
And
first
you end up with
37 minutes,
45 minutes of good hockey.
You end up with 45 really good minutes, and when they were losing games, it was like they need to play a complete 60. And when they win a game where they barely hang on, it's like they need to play a complete 60. Anaheim played a complete 16 minutes tonight,
and they won the game
and won a hockey game. And that's just how the sport goes sometimes.
Wow.
And this is where goaltending is your great equalizer.
Yep.
Because when you give up, it is so hard in the NHL to score goals. You have to work so hard for the majority of them that when a guy just walks in and throws a wrist shot from 3 feet inside the blue line, that you should be able to pick up very cleanly. There's one other guy in the zone.
And again, mistakes happen. Look, no player is perfect. It's
Absolutely.
It's when they build up. If Frankie stops even one of those, the Avs get at least a point out of tonight.
Yeah, you're in a 3-3 hockey game and you have no idea how it goes from there.
Right. But it's when All right, you had one that's a bad rebound. That's not great, but we'll ignore it. All right, you have one that you just have to have saved. You just need it. And then you have the fourth goal, which is realistically one you just have to have saved as well. Now you're talking about 2.5 or 3 errors, and that's just too many. It's just too many from a goaltender to survive. It's too hard to do that on a regular basis and consistently win when your goaltender plays like that. And it's not.
No.
And look,
Pavel Francouz, I don't want to we're gonna crush Francouz tonight.
of course we are, and
because he was arguably their worst player,
and he'll bounce back, and it'll be fine.
And exactly. Pavel Francouz we've talked about it. Just doesn't change anything about him. But this is and the fact that we were able to talk about it
and see it coming,
and know that one of these types of games was on its way.
Yep.
It tells you that this is why Pavel Francouz has not taken a starting position in Colorado.
Yep.
When there have been guys who are like, well, let's see if he can be the starter. And now Jared Bednar's not even playing. He knows. He knows the score.
Yep.
He knows who the number one in this team is. It's not him. I have no issues with them playing Francouz tonight.
No.
I don't care that they played him. If you can't trust your backup to go out there and
beat
you have one of the better backups out
feed.
there.
Yeah.
He should be comfortable beating the Anaheim Ducks. He has a bad game though.
Yeah.
But and the problems stack on each other. Yes, Pavel Francouz has a bad game. And the reality is the defenseman that the Avs are missing is just catching up to them.
Right. And you combine both of those. If Georgiev is in there, you get one of those extra saves, you like your chances to win. If Josh Manson and Bowen Byram are in there and they don't have the defensive problems that Curtis McDermott and Andreas Englund did tonight and Brad Hunt did tonight,
you like your chances.
You like your chances. But you had the lineup that you had. You were in the position that you were in. All that considered, they had a 3-1 lead and blew it. They throw it in the trash because they stop working.
No excuse.
It's the same problem. It was the same. My anger is the same as it was after the Chicago game because the biggest number one thing is that they stopped working. If you just get beat, if you go out there and you work your whole game and you just get beat, that is life in the NHL. It happens. But when you go out there and you do all the hard work and you put yourself in a good position like that, you tear up a bad team and then you completely give it all away because you stop doing all the things that you need to do. To me, that's a bad loss. It's an unacceptable effort. It's an embarrassing night.
Yep.
I mean, this doesn't change my long-term feeling about them making the playoffs. They're doing that. This doesn't make me think that, oh man, maybe they don't have it this year. I don't know that answer. I don't know. But
the Avs are still 6-1 in their last 7.
This is 2 points that they were in position to take. It's not like they walked out from opening puck drop and just got bodied. They did all this work.
Yeah.
Ironic that I'm talking about hard work. I work my fucking ass off, dude.
I mean, anyone who says that has no idea what we do. We don't even need to get into that. Look, Colorado had a game that is unbelievably frustrating and needed to be better, certainly for the parts of it where it fell apart on them. And they're still fine. Again, they're 6-1 in their last 7.
Yep.
They have a chance to get back on the winning road if they beat St. Louis on Saturday before the All-Star game, and you probably don't think about this again if they do that. But they need to find ways to stop putting themselves in this situation. And look, yes, injuries do matter. Having some of those guys back would have helped, but that's not something the Avs can control. The Avs can control being up 3-1 and not blowing it. And they failed to do so in this hockey game. So you just need better than that.
Threw it away, man.
On that note, even if the Avs lose and you're frustrated with it, you should at least look good while you're frustrated. I know I get frustrated on the golf course all the time. So check out Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel merchandiser of DNVR. You can get 15% off your order when you use code DNVR and checkout at pinsandaces.com. They got the hats, they got the shirts, they got the pants, they got all the good stuff to make you look good out on the golf course. They also have their beer sleeve, which you can put right in your golf bag. Carry 7 beers easily in onto the course with you with your golf bag. So when you get frustrated, you can have a drink and calm down a little bit. Again, check them out at pinsandaces.com and use the DNVR code at checkout. And then we're also brought to you by Shady Rays, which Blais and AJ have on here. Great for hiding your angry eyes when the Avs blow leads.
Yeah.
Can confirm. Do go get yourself some Shady Rays. They're great at what they do. They're here in.
We get it. Will you let it go with the Whopper? We get it.
You can go check them out at Park Meadows Mall if you want a physical location. Of course, you can also go online to shadyrays.com. And when you use code DNVR at checkout, you get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. They've been rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Go check them out. Obviously, we all love them. We've been wearing them like crazy since we got them. They're super cool. I like my crazy over-the-top ones. You can also get some more normal ones like these two have gotten. If you're into normal sunglasses like a lame person, that's okay. I understand. With the glasses, if you get them, if they get lost or cracked or broken in the first 30 days, Shady Rays will replace them for completely free. So get over there to shadyrays.com. They also have snow goggles. If you're a skier or a snowboarder, they got you hooked up there.
They've got prescription stuff too.
Yeah, they do.
I almost got those.
Should
I was like, I don't know what my prescription is. So.
Well, that's a tough look for you there.
Just guess and see what you get.
I need to get that thing updated.
Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I don't want to rail too much on the guys like Curtis McDermott and Brad Hunt and Andreas Englund because this is just the reality of playing AHL caliber defensemen on your team.
You get AHL caliber games out of those guys sometimes, and it's real hard to win.
It's just what happened tonight. I don't think there's any two ways around it. All three of them really, really struggled in their own defensive zone. And then Eric Johnson also did so.
Let's be real here. We've talked about Andreas Englund has been so solid that we aren't totally in love with the idea of them going out and getting a Jack Johnson or a Dmitry Kulikov.
But then he has nights like
because
this.
Andreas Englund has been solid. Brad Hunt has scored a couple of goals that they really needed in some games.
For sure. They've had good moments.
That have done it. Curtis McDermott has had a handful of pretty passable games in the last few weeks. There's a reason he was starting to push 10 minutes of ice time. I can't believe this is a conversation. But 10 minutes of ice time on a semi-regular basis here. Like, these guys, like, we're going to crush them tonight because they were bad and they cost the Avs the game.
Yep.
But, I want to isolate the problems to just tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay? Like, our frustrations are tonight and tonight alone. I don't want this to be an indictment of these guys overall. I don't want it to be an indictment of the entire season or any of this nonsense, okay? Sometimes you just have a bad night at work.
Yep.
That's just life.
If you're a hostage of the moment, you can't expand that moment to the rest of the season. Be in the moment, and you can be frustrated with that moment, and then the moment passes and you stop being frustrated.
Yeah, like you have all night and all reason to be upset about this game. They throw this game in the trash can. They threw this game in the trash can. Anaheim didn't take it from them. Yep. Colorado just gave it up on a silver platter.
Yep.
And handed 2 points to a team that doesn't even want them.
Well, when you look at the third pairing, right, on the defense, like what you guys are talking about, when you are a third pairing defensive pair, I said it twice, it's kind of weird. In the NHL, like, if you're not having your A game, you're going to get worked over. The talent level, like you're right on that front, right? You're AHL, NHL, you're right on that bubble. If you're having a good night, you can play in the NHL. When you're having a bad night, looks like you should go back to the AHL. And that's what you're going to get with guys like that are just sitting at that bubble. And it goes back to the injuries.
It does. And again, there's no great answer for the injuries. The Avs are going to get through the All-Star break, and hey, Josh Manson and Bowen Byram are going to be back.
Val Nichushkin.
And this won't be a problem that we really talk about anymore.
Well, you'll be able to evaluate what's going on at the defensive position for the Avs with the lineup that they want to ice.
I don't even know if it's evaluate. It's if those dudes, if Manson and Bowen Byram have a bad game, you can pretty easily say, hey, you need to play better.
Yeah.
If Andreas Englund and Brad Hunt have a bad game, you say, you're going to get that sometimes. There isn't really much room to hit their ceiling and get better. And I think the biggest problem for me consistently that we've seen out of these depth defensemen, in golf, you call it hit and hope. You don't really look where you're aiming. You don't really think about it. You just hit the ball and hope it goes wherever is good.
That's
And-
all I play all of my golf.
Yeah, and that's all the way the Avs bottom pairing defense tries to clear the puck. There's no head checks. There's no using your eyes to find the open spot in the ice. It's just dude whacking pucks and hoping it gets out of the zone. And it creates these brutal defensive zone shifts where guys get stuck out there and just at a certain point can no longer play effective hockey because you just can't have a 2-minute shift.
Yeah.
The one that kills you is Erik Johnson.
Yeah, agree.
Because like the situation that they're in, they have to have 4 guys that they really lean on in Taves, Makar, Girard, and Johnson. And like Taves, I had no issues with tonight. I didn't think it was a good or bad game. I just thought he was fine.
Unfortunately, took a puck to the face at the end.
Yeah,
of it.
that sucks. But and Makar, like, you know, he gets the assist on the first
for his
goal,
first
but,
night back.
But like we talked about it pregame. He's always been kind of like a work into rhythm guy, not a guy that just you drop into game one and he's just there. You know, he's never really been that guy. Of all the times he's come back from injury, it's never really been the case. But with Girard, you get one of his best games of the season.
Yep, we'll talk about him in a little
bit.
He's
very, very good tonight. But you need better from Erik Johnson, and he's had 2 poor games in a row leading into this, where you were like, "Hey, Cale is back now, so you can reduce some of the minutes,
hunt matchups a little bit."
Yeah, and you need to be comfortable. You need to be able to now you're managing him a little bit more, but now you're putting him with a Curtis McDermott, or you're putting him with some of these other guys. He's got to be the guy that kind of bails them out of a problem.
Yep.
And we saw the one shift that leads to the second goal.
It's EJ
It's
and
McDermott
Curtis.
and it's EJ, and both guys make big, like brutal, glaring, huge errors with the puck where they can't get it out of the zone, and it leads to extended possession, and it leads to tired legs, and tired legs leads to mistakes, and that's how you end up with a goal against. But
all of that shouldn't have been a goal, but
all of that considered, the goal that goes in 100% of the time should still be stopped by Pavel Francouz.
Yep.
And that's where my frustration ends with tonight, is all the mistakes that are in front of Frankie, and they exist. There's no getting around any of that. There's no pretending it didn't happen.
It still feels like they should have won the game beyond that.
They still probably should win this game 3-1 or 3-2.
Yep. Agree.
But Frankie has the same bad night that Curtis McDermott and Brad Hunt and Erik Johnson and Andreas Englund all did.
Yep.
And
that's just one too many dudes having a bad night.
Yeah, and it's really hard to win games in the NHL when your goaltender is one of those guys.
Yep.
You kind of just hope to survive those. But that's why you play your backup against a team like Anaheim.
Because it's easier to survive.
Pick that. Yeah. There's a reason that teams pick the bad teams on the schedule to play their backups. Because your margin for error is a little bit bigger, so you don't need quite the same performance out of your goaltender. And they would have been fine had Frankie not had 2, arguably 3 moments tonight.
Well, and
where
again,
he just doesn't get the job
done. Why the hammer falls a little bit harder on Frankie than those other guys is because you expect Frankie to play better than that.
You do.
You know he has that game in him, and it's going to happen at times. But you expect him to be a better goaltender than an 871 is what he finished with tonight. Yeah. It's just not good enough.
Yeah. Yep. We didn't care when they had a 5-0 lead against Detroit and Francouz gave up
because those goals don't matter.
You just don't care about those because you're like, okay, well. He's got a 5-goal lead and everybody's kind of geared it down and blah, 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 right? Like, whatever. But this was not that. This was a game that they had in hand, but they were 3-1. You still have to show up.
Yep.
All this talk about, they showed up and they, the effort and this and that. But I like refuse to give Pavel Francouz a free pass on this one because he was such an obvious problem tonight on half of the goals that go in against him.
Yeah.
You've gotten great goaltending for most of this year. We've lavished both guys with a ton of praise more often than not. There have been very few games in which you can point to the goaltender and say, this is the number one reason why they lost tonight. And tonight, I think, is one of the very few games where I start with a bad goalie performance, and then I go from there. It's not the end of that list, for sure.
Well, I think another part of this is the last time the Avs were getting some not great stretch of goaltending, they were also giving them no goal support.
Yeah.
They were scoring 1 goal in games, and it's like, well, yeah, your goalie played bad, but you're not going to win with 1 goal anyway.
Pretty much.
Tonight, the Avs get 3 goals past John Gibson, who, again, played great tonight, and they find a way to get 3 past him. And Frankie just gets outplayed. Just directly worse than the guy across from that.
It's like 2 trains passing in the night, going from starting off bad, starting off good, and just
swapping positions. And it's just things like that make the contrast of Frankie's play so much more clearly poor tonight.
Yeah, and I'm reiterating, we're isolating this to tonight.
Of course.
This is not an overall indictment of Pavel Francouz. There's nobody sitting on the set right now talking about needing another goaltender.
You wake up tomorrow and you still love Pavel Francouz as your backup.
This tandem has been awesome.
Dude, it has been a top 5 tandem in the NHL this season.
Yep.
This just happens, and
Frankie's a huge part of that.
It's so unfortunate though that it just happens to be, when you're playing an Anaheim, when you're playing the Yotes, when you're playing Chicago.
Well, and it's unfortunate, and it's also tough because that limitation of Frankie. Like AJ was saying, you saw this game coming from Frankie. You didn't know if it was going to be tonight necessarily, but his entire career, you've seen him when he gets into those extended runs. About the 5th game he has to play,
every 4th or 5th game, right somewhere in that range. There was the one stretch where he had 10 games where everybody fell over themselves to anoint him as the man. Back right before the COVID shutdown.
Yep.
Those were the 10 best games of his career. And 2 of those were still not great games, but he was great in that stretch. Every single other portion of his career, Pavel Francouz, every couple of games, he struggles.
The conference final series last year is a perfect microcosm of his career.
It's like perfect.
Yep. Everything about it. The level of his play dipping in the 3rd and 4th game, and him getting the insane goal support to where he gets away with it.
Yeah. He gives up, and like that is those 2 games, games 3 and 4 against Edmonton, are great examples because Frankie gives up a really, really soft goal in game 3 in the 3rd period. It's the 2nd goal of the game.
Yep.
But the Avs get through it.
Yep.
They win that game anyway. Cool. But he only gave up the 1 softie.
Yep.
If he stops it at 2, if he stops it at 2 tonight,
they win.
They win the hockey game. Game 4, they just had to outscore Pavel Francouz.
Yep.
Which they've done a lot of times in his career. You go and look at the number of times he's given up 4 goals and won a game. It's crazy. It's crazy.
A lot.
So, Frankie had a bad night. I have full faith that the next game that Pavel Francouz plays,
he'll be better.
He's much, much better.
Yeah.
He probably wins that game.
Yep.
It's probably one of the Florida games. It's probably Tampa or Florida.
Against a good hockey team.
Yeah, against a good team. Like, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
But tonight he wasn't, and he was a big reason why those 2 points got away from them.
Yep.
There were points where he didn't have tons of help.
For sure.
But it's not like Mason McTavish came in on a breakaway clean. He had Cale Makar standing in front of him. There were 2 guys in the defensive zone. And McTavish just throws a weak wrister.
That just goes through him.
That goal, like, more than any. The 2nd goal, fine.
Bad rebound.
Again,
great shot.
Again,
That's the first goal.
It's
right.
all of them combined. You pick one.
Right.
Pick one to take away, and you feel a good bit better about it.
Yep.
But it was one too many on the whole. And again, the Avs did him no favors in the 3rd period. Let's not take away from the fact that the Avs just got completely caved for the first 12 minutes of that period. But sometimes you need your goalie to bail you out of those situations.
Yeah.
For
like the 3rd goal, we haven't even talked about because we're like, Curtis McDermott blows his assignment, and Adam Henrique makes a good play in front of the net.
Strong on his stick with
We're not gonna. I'm never gonna crush a goaltender because the guy goes top shelf a foot away from him.
Of course not.
Give me a break.
But so you give him that goal, and you give him the first goal, and if Frankie stops the one he's supposed to, the Avs win the hockey game.
Yep. And that's in with all the other problems.
Yep. It's a tough look.
Just a bummer. Now they're going to
Unfortunately,
smoke St. Louis in 2 days, and
Yeah.
we're all going to feel a lot better going into the break.
we'll all be going.
Regardless, it's a huge missed opportunity to win 7 straight.
It is.
And I know it's weird to be like upset after they've won 6 in a row, but like had they lost to Washington and won tonight, everybody would be cool.
Would feel chill about it. for
Everybody
sure.
would be cool. But because it's once again, now you've lost to Anaheim, you've lost to Chicago, you've lost to Arizona, you've lost to Philadelphia,
Yep.
you lost twice to Vancouver.
Yep.
An organization so inept they couldn't even fire their coach correctly. And you've handed that's I just rattled off 10 points?
Well,
That's 10 standings points
look,
that they've left on the table.
part of it is opportunities too, right? You had a night where Winnipeg lost tonight. You saw Minnesota win tonight, who the Avs are directly competing with right now for the 3rd spot in the Central. When people are doing a little bit of that scoreboard watching, seeing where you can make up ground in the division,
Yeah.
nights like tonight, it seemed like missed opportunities.
It is a missed opportunity because the scoreboard went Colorado's way around them, and they had a 3-1 lead against Anaheim that they gave away.
Yep.
Just gave it away. Now they've got an easy schedule, and they will continue to get healthy, and they're going to make the playoffs. It's fine.
Yeah.
They're going to be fine.
Outside of tonight, I have literally zero worries about this hockey team through the rest of the regular season. Just nothing actually seriously concerning, other than a tough game from Francouz and a bunch of guys who will not be on your defense when it gets to playoff time.
Right. Like if I tell you, if this is the group that goes into round 1,
They're going to lose.
I don't feel good about it.
But we know, assuming relative health, we know they're getting defensemen back after the All-Star break. It's literally 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
From them getting
It's one more game
away.
One game.
Yeah. They're 1 game away from getting
at least one, probably 2 defensemen back.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
probably
it should be
getting
2, right?
Yeah, they from where Byram is right now, you add 10 more days, 12 more days, he should be ready to go. And if he's not, it won't be long. It'll be sometime on that road trip.
Yeah.
I would bet at least $1.
Yep. On that note, don't get injured at work like Devon Taves did. But if you do, if an accident does happen, you can call Bacchus and Shanker with 222-2222. Go hit the 2 for a number a while. Words. Get in there.
Nice. People are gonna think you're Bruto again now.
Oh my God. I misspoke. I must be hammered, folks.
Exactly.
Unfortunate reality. Look,
Yeah, don't take a puck to the jaw at work.
highly recommend you don't do that.
It hurts.
But if that did happen to you, Bacchus and Shanker may have a case. You can call them. They will take on your case, or at least look at it for completely free. If they think you can win it, they'll take it on for completely free, and they won't get paid until you win the case.
You think it's weird if you went in there and said a duck broke my jaw?
I think the receptionist would be like, "What's the punchline?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "It was my jaw. That was the punchline."
Could you sue a duck?
An Anaheim Duck, sure.
You could definitely sue an Anaheim duck. I don't know if you could sue a duck. Might be tough to
Can
win
you
that case.
Sue a duck. To be honest with you, it sounds like tomorrow's pod. Can you sue a duck? We're gonna get somebody from Bacchus and Shanker to come onto the pod. Talk about injury liability via animals.
The legality of suing a duck.
Yeah.
Whatever your case may be, whether you've been injured in a car accident, whether it was a ride share thing at work, motorcycle, you name it, Bacchus and Shanker has won over $1 billion for its clients over the years here in Colorado. So they're extremely good at what they do. You can see on the video there, go to coloradolaw.net or press 2 for a while to get a hold of these guys and see if you have a case for completely free. Also brought to you by Green Mountain Dental Group. It looks like Taves might need to hit them up as well based on that puck to the face. He might have lost a couple of teeth tonight. They will do a great job taking care of you when you get a cleaning, x-ray, and exam with Green Mountain Dental. You get a free Sonicare toothbrush to make sure you're taking care of your teeth at home as well. They're just 15 minutes from downtown over in Lakewood. So go check them out and get your pearly whites nice and pearly white. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. It was a tough night for the bottom end of the Avs defense, but it was a fantastic night for the guy who has been hated on significantly in the Avs defense by the fan base of late. Sam Girard balled out tonight.
He was really good.
He's no Prince tonight. He's getting king of the game on this one. A 2-point night, the great goal with a nice finish off of the clean play, a beautiful setup to Nieto for the power play goal that the Avs ended up having, and quietly bailed out a bunch of dudes in the defensive zone tonight repeatedly.
Dude, the replay with Eric Johnson on the other side, just like flailing about, and Girard is like diving in front of pucks and swatting them away. And you're just like, oh my God, like Sam Girard is on fire tonight.
Dude, he took 3 of those
Like,
off of him.
like
3
everything,
shots were hit.
everything worked for Sam Girard and for nobody else on that defense.
Yep.
It was, oh man, he was awesome tonight. This is the Sam Girard that we were all like, yeah, okay. Like this is the best version of the guy.
Yep.
But you expect like 80% of this caliber of player most nights, and they haven't gotten it. So seeing it tonight was so stark.
It's still in there. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, okay, there it is.
Yep.
This is the guy that we want to see.
Yep.
Really good. He was really good.
Certainly the guy they need right now, given the rest of their defense.
I saw somebody in chat earlier talking about how it looked like Girard couldn't even find the puck at times, and I'm just like, buddy, I don't know what you're watching.
Yeah,
he was so good tonight.
I think
the only thing that you could say from that is like at the very beginning,
his
the puck was bouncing.
First shift, he got beat on a race into the zone.
That happened, but then he was just solid.
There was the one in the defensive zone where it got like where he just kept spinning around. He couldn't.
He
find
lost it in his
feet.
skates. Yeah,
and it ended up not being a problem.
Yep. But again, you see where the Avs can be at a level defensively with guys like Sam Girard playing well when they get guys back. And it just continues to be why we're not overly concerned about this being a thing going forward.
Yeah. Well, because the floor of the players that should be on their way
so
back
much higher,
is much higher than the floor of the guys tonight where we saw those floors.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Oh, it's gotten reasonable in here.
Has it? I'm still hot as hell.
No, dude, it is super hot. We need to get out of here.
I mean, it was at a peak there for a second. My goodness. That could be. I already hit the point where I don't feel it anymore.
Let's get to super chats here. Just the one. $5 from Vaguely Sober.
The Avs do need a save. It's true.
Yep. Yeah. I don't think BK is going to get him a save, though. Unfortunately. Thank you, Vaguely.
Really important game on Saturday now.
Yep.
Because St. Louis is losing their way to the All-Star break. You don't want to give them any kind of life.
No.
Bury them.
And like you want to put them down. Maybe more importantly, you need points. You just do. You can't be excited about how many games in hand you have all season when you're not getting points.
Well, and you just got bumped out of that third spot.
Yep.
Minnesota
did win.
And now you're the second wild card again.
It was so weird
right
to
on
me.
The edge.
The number of people that tweeted that out, like, "Here come the Avs," right? Like,
I was one of them.
I know, and it was so weird to me because I'm like, they're in third place, guys, by like a point.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're back. I still fully believe that they're back and they're going to chase down some fools.
Same.
But it was just weird to see so many people do it after the same game where it was like,
it's fun.
we climbed the mountain, and now it's like, you're back down.
Is it the mission accomplished Bush on the aircraft carrier?
Man, it's like shoots and ladders, man. And you just took one of the shoots.
Yeah, okay.
P.S. Even if the Avs lost, still 50% off some shirts for the Avs in the DNVR locker. Go check those out.
Yeah, and tickets still available for the takeover.
Yeah, both tickets on the bus to the game with tickets and just bus tickets. If you already have tickets to the game, we know a lot of y'all are season ticket holders. It's just $20 to get a ticket there and back on the bus, which is literally cheaper than parking. So you might as well jump on the bus with us that way. Friday, which is tomorrow. It's almost today at this point. We are doing a live show from the Breck Farmhouse down in Littleton. If you want to come hang.
Be us. They scheduled it.
Yeah, I know. AJ and I will be there doing a live show. If you go down there and mention DNVR, you get 10% off your tab. So come hang out with us on a Friday if you want some good food and to listen to a show. Really quickly, thoughts on Matt Nieto's first game?
As advertised.
Yep. It happened.
Nothing has changed. He's still Matt Nieto.
Sounds about right to me.
It'll be great when he's like slotted in where he should be at.
The Avs are still the Avs despite a frustrating loss. Matt Nieto still Matt Nieto. That's all we got. We're going to get out of here. Again, we'll be back tomorrow live from the farmhouse, 1 p.m. Mountain, and of course, the matinee game Saturday. Some mimosas and hockey. What more could you ask for? We hope to see you on the show or wherever. If you like the podcast version, give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app. We appreciate that. And we are out of here.